All right, when it comes to exterior surface prep, we kind of have three tiers, and it's really to meet people's budget. Right here, what we're doing is our standard scraping is we're going to try to get all of the loose paint free from the house so that we can get down to bare wood or solid wood, which is, when we take our tool, our metal scraping tool, is that, none of this stuff wants to come free. That's what we're trying to get to. Now, our standard surface prep would be to scrape and then go back and kind of sand these edges, because when you paint over this is what you end up with, these really hard edges. And that's what we kind of want to avoid. But in many cases, budget for a home, we're just gonna scrape and go, which is we're gonna scrape what's loose, we're gonna prime it, and we're gonna paint. That's the most budget efficient. Our standard is we really want to scrape and then sand out those edges. Pretty much anything from there, if you really want things to look like they're new, I would just go ahead and replace this whole board. And the time it takes for us to scrape it, sand it, float it, I might as well just start replacing wood. So when we go to do your estimate, one of my first questions is what is your quality concern? What level of perfection do you want? What can you live with? What is your budget going to afford? And so this is where that conversation comes into place, because when it comes to painting the exterior of a home, almost 75% of the time that we're going to spend on your home is just surface prep. That's why a lot of times when someone else's bid is tremendously lower, it's because they're not going to spend the time doing the same level of surface prep. So again, you see here, we're going to scrape, sand, prime it, and paint. And that's what you can see the guys doing today. He's going back and priming all of the bare wood areas, all these little areas that we were able to get peeling paint to come off is where we're going to go back and touch up. This is the primer that we're using. It's a oil-based primer. The reason that we use this on bare wood is that the bare wood has a tendency to soak up a lot of the primer, and the oil-based soaks in better. It doesn't dry as fast. And that's really what you want, is you want that primer to really get absorbed into that wood. You're almost thinking of it as like conditioning the wood. And so we don't want it to dry fast. And that's why we use an oil-based primer. After we've gotten done with all of our scraping, priming, we're gonna go back and look for the gaps in the wood, which is what Adam's doing here, is caulking up all of the gaps, which is basically just a separation in the two painted surfaces, in this case, a porch ceiling. One of the reasons that we have a process for our surface prep is because sometimes you don't see certain areas until they're primed. In this case, we've got a gap in the wood between the siding and this trim board that we want to make sure we go back and caulk. All right, when it comes to surface prep, there's basically 4 steps that we want to make sure that our surface meets before we get started. And that's that it's clean, dry, dull, and sound. Dull obviously means it's not shiny. Sound means that it's not rotten. We don't want to paint over crumbling brick or rotted wood. So we're either going to repair the brick or we're going to replace the wood. Clean means what it means. We're going to clean the surface. Generally, that's pressure washing the home, and dry is dry. Don't paint. You don't want to power wash the home and then paint it immediately after. You need that surface to be good and dry. So that's kind of what we've done here on this home, is that we power washed before we ever got started. Now we're already onto the step of scraping, sanding, and priming.